Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is June 19th, 2023. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Overall, it's been a good day. We worked, we came home, we're here now. I will say, though, man, I really gotta stop being the social smoker. I gotta fight. I don't know if it's because of that from smoking on Saturday, or if it's the weather change, or the combination of the two, or I got a little buggy wuggy. I don't know, but my throat is toast. It's toast. Obviously, as a podcaster, that's not what you want. You need the vocals nice and lubricated, nice and tight. I don't know. These are terrible words to talk about your vocal cords. But yeah, I'm good. I'm hanging in there. But yeah, it's definitely a little bummer just to have like a scratchy, smoky throat. I would not recommend. Let's see though. Other than that, things are good. We're vibing. We're thriving. Food corner hasn't been too deep. A lot of snackies, a lot of chips, energy drinks. Oh, a energy drink and some chocolate. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, actually, no. I will get into a good food corner because this is from the other day. Yes. I had Brenner, and I made a chocolate chip waffle. And I gotta say, I kind of flubbed up here, but in a good way. I got the waffle mix. It's the Kodiak waffle mix. I do recommend that. Not sponsored, but good waffle mix. Good waffle pancake mix to use. But I goofed up and I went to go grab the the OG normal kind, and I was gonna get some chocolate chips to put on top of it, and I grabbed the chocolate chip kind and still got the chocolate chips put on top of it. So we got crazy chocolatey with it, which was good. It was the effect that I wanted. I put on some whipped cream on top too, and I had some bacon, some fries, and some chicken. So it was yummy. It was good. It was a good little meal. Oh, and some cinnamon toast. Yes. So it was nice. It was a nice little dinner brenner for me. That being said, probably gonna be a lot of ho hum regular scheduled meals. So probably not too eventful for the week. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Also, sorry if you are hearing any background music. My neighbors are doing the party thing, and that's cool. We're all getting through this Monday, and I'm not mad about that. Plus, my studio is my home, so it just is what it is. My little apartment, my little room. So whatever sounds may come, they come. Also, it might be raining off and on. So good old Ohio weather, good old Ohio people. All right. Let me start off with a classic break. I know it's going to totally help my throat. I'm sure of it. All right. Also, too, some more mea culpas. This is probably gonna be a scuffed episode. I don't know. I feel like my brain is like scattershot today. I was doing my research, and I'm like, none of this is sticking. Like I know what's in my head, and I know it's on the page in this article, but bear with me. We're gonna do our best together. Yes, we're gonna hold each other's hand. Get through some news. Also, happy Juneteenth. All right. NPR. Anthony Blinken meets China's Xi in a bid to ease soaring U.S. China tensions. So, Blinken had been planning on making a trip to China earlier this year, but that was before the whole balloon incident that took place. We were in a big kerfuffle about that. We popped the balloon. So things were icy, things were dicey. Let's see. We've also covered the China or the Taiwan Strait situation with the warships, and then how Secretary Austin Lloyd tried to do a little talking, do a little peacekeeping, if you will. That got brushed off. by his counterpart. So, things have been pretty cold, not too good in terms of the relations. So this trip kind of came, at least the news came, it kind of came as a surprise. I think they kind of notified people maybe an hour or so before it was happening, like press wise. So, Blinken had a quick, I think 30-minute or so meeting with Xi Jinping, the president of China. I honestly love the two pictures that I've seen from their meeting. Blinken doing the weirdest old man handshake. It's almost like his body's trying to like do a little dance or something, but he's holding hands. And then you just have Xi Jinping kind of doing just the straight up, just vanilla, okay, shake hands with this guy. And then the following picture I have for the thumbnail is just the two of them just standing there, just like what the fuck do we do now? It's like they used all their social points on the handshake, and they're just done. They're done with the whole thing. But overall, the takeaways, because I just want to summarize a bit. He met with Xi, that happened, but then he also met with other top officials, things like that. It doesn't seem like anything major happened. It's not like any big ground was broken. But this in and of itself was just a good call, good move. And I think everyone's kind of happy that, we can say that, hey, we made an effort and we didn't hate it. Because I think both sides don't want to budge on any of their issues. But at the same time, they're two great superpowers. They can't not interact with each other. We literally have our hands in each other's pockets. We need each other. There's just so much symbiosis here. And not to mention, if we were to escalate in a true conflict, true whatever may come, the ramifications, the consequences of that would be dire, not just for China and the U.S., but also the international community at large. So we're all doing this weird, funny, awkward dance with each other, where we're mad at each other, but we also realize that we need to work together, and we also have to look and show strength, but then we also have to be diplomatic. We've kind of talked about some of the lower key meetings that have happened between other officials, other, correspondence between both staffs, governments, whatever. So, this is a little bit of an interesting thing. Honestly, I'm not a big Blinken fan, but, at least the effort was made, and hopefully there will be more of this. I would love to just, see both sides just kiss, kiss. But I don't know. It's always the same points from both sides. It's, and I love that we're we have to have this competition. Whatever, dude. It's just a weird way of saying we have to have someone to beef with, and it's you. We feel you guys are the up and comers, and of course for China they're bro, we're fucking ahead of y'all and so much shit. What do you mean we're up and coming? We're okay, but naturally I think it's also China having to find its own foothold and do its own diplomacy in this whole fucking situation. So it's a lot of dancing. It's a lot of realpolitik. I like using that word. I'm probably not using it right, but I like using it. But yeah, I would definitely say, read the article or whatever if you want to get the details. It does the whole back and forth. But yeah, hopefully, like I said, this is a sign of more conversation and less hostility. That's what we're hoping for here at the newsstand. All right. Let's move on to some other news from ABC News. Juneteenth celebration horror. 23 shot, 1 fatally at Illinois event. At least 23 people were injured, 1 fatally, when gunfire erupted early Sunday at a Juneteenth celebration in suburban Chicago, authorities said. The shooting unfolded about 12:30 a.m. in the parking lot of a strip mall in Willowbrook, about 23 miles west of Chicago, according to DuPage County Sheriff. The gunfire erupted during a large gathering of several hundred people to commemorate Juneteenth, and victims were taken to multiple area hospital with gunshot wounds, according to the sheriff. and one was pronounced dead, and at least two were in critical condition. Now, the motives of the shooting hasn't been released or isn't known yet. Obviously, it's really sad, for just an event like this to, just have such a, shitty thing happen on it. But that's people interacting. That is the shit that is going to go down. And obviously, in America, when you have tools, you will use them. But yeah, obviously very fucked up. My thoughts go out to, all the family, all the people involved in that. You're just trying to celebrate. You're trying to have a good time. This holiday has only been federally, celebrated for what 3 years now. So, it's just a shame that, you try to go out, you try to have a good time, you try to celebrate, and this is shit that happens. So, yeah, obviously, I wish, I was bringing other news here, but that is something that took place that I wanted to talk about and cover. But yeah, despite this, I do hope that you've had a really good Juneteenth. And I don't know, I do think that this is a good holiday, and I'm glad that it's something that we're going to keep celebrating. That being said, though, we're going to go on a little bit of a tangent to the segue. I saw that there's conversation of oh, this is like the new July 4th, or this should be like the July 4th that you should care about, yada yada yada. I don't know, man. I like them just being separate. I like the idea of it all just being something that is something that we're talking about. Hey, this is a holiday. Why is it a holiday? And you go down on the reasons why, what happened, why it's relevant, why it's a good thing. I think that's good. I don't think you have to write an editorial about why one should be the other, why one's more relevant than the other. I don't know. I'm just stoked that it's up there, that it's relevant to people. That's good. But I mean, granted, whether or not the state was going to celebrate it, look, we were going to celebrate. We were going to celebrate it. You know what I mean? So that's why, I don't know. For me, I was like, it's just another day, but I'm glad it's something that it's hey, we are taking stock of. You know what I mean? So, but that's just because I'm not a holiday guy. Just being honest. If it wasn't for a few people, I probably would not care about Christmas. I would not care about Thanksgiving. I would not care about any of the shit. But that being said, on a national scale, I like that it is, hey, something we're talking about and discussing as people and celebrating as people. It's good. And maybe one day I will get a federal holiday, and that will be nice. But until then, I gotta make this fucking shmoney. All right, on that note, let's move on to the next thing. Let's see. From the BBC. Titanic tourist submersible. Why did I jam up on that? Titanic tourist submersible goes missing with search underway. So, I mean, I don't know. This story feels very hubris of man kind of thing to me. But a submersible craft used to take people to see the wreck of the Titanic has been missing in the Atlantic Ocean with its crew on board since Sunday, sparking a major search and rescue. Contact with the submersible was lost about 1 hour and 45 minutes into the vessel's drive, the U.S. Coast Guard said. Excuse me. I think OceanGate is the maker of the tour or whatever. But I believe the owner, let me see if I can find his name here. Oh, no. This is just a rich guy who's on the boat or on the submarine. Hamish Harding, a 58-year-old British billionaire businessman and explorer, is among those missing in the submarine, his family said. But, yeah, I mean, let's see. The missing craft is believed to be the OceanGate's Titan submersible, a truck-sized sub that holds 5 people and usually dives with a 4-day emergency supply of oxygen. So, AKA, these motherfuckers got 4 days to live being anything going wrong. So, it's just going wrong right now. But, yeah, I think, something that they hold at the end of this article that really fucked me up about the submersible, they go through all the numbers, all the specs. I do have it in the thumbnail, but obviously you can look that up and see that. But something that they said about it, Let's see. The passengers are sealed inside the vessel by bolts applied from the outside. There's no way to escape. Even if you rise to the surface by yourself, you cannot get out of the sub without a crew on the outside letting you out. That's crazy scary to me. You're in a submarine. You and a few of them motherfucking people. Doesn't matter how much money you got in your goddamn account. You are trapped. This could be your tomb. That's scary. That's scary. Why? So you could get an up close and personal view of the carcass of a fucking ship that made a fucking mistake on going out the way that it did and hitting an iceberg? I don't know, man. It couldn't be me, is all I'm saying. That's wild as hell. I obviously hope that these people are found alive. Hopefully that this potential tragedy is turned into at least a good, survival story. Cause fuck, man, that's crazy. I cannot imagine. Look, I have a fearful respect of space. I have a fear and respect of the ocean because the ocean's right here. It's in our planet. I cannot I don't know. I can't think really hard or jump really high and get into space. So I can't fuck around and find out there. But there's something so eerie about a place that is mostly water, and we just can't get to most of it. There's so much uncharted there. So I'm already. It's a no from me right there. I'm not trying to become barracuda bait. So the fact of the matter is that you're gonna hop into a little submarine and risk it all just to see the Titanic. Just watch the movie. Just watch I don't know, man. That's crazy to me. But once again, I really hope that this turns into a good situation of survival and rescue, all that. Because goddamn. All right, we got one more thing to cover. Doo-ba-da-doo. Ooh. 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 All right. The last article is from USA Today. UPS employees authorize strike. What that means for you. So this is a little quick summary. The Teamsters union representing UPS workers has voted overwhelmingly to authorize a strike if no agreement is reached on a labor contract before the current one expires on July 31st. And that's at midnight. It's a wrap. Raising the prospect of massive nationwide disruptions in the UPS deliveries. So this is a big deal. Also, before I kind of want to get into more of this, I'm curious if other people have had this mental unfurling when it comes to the Teamsters. Every time I hear the word Teamsters, in my head I have to fight the association that that's mob shit. I kind of had to do some deprogramming or whatever, because I've learned about the Teamsters through the mob. And a lot of times whenever you were talking about I think Jimmy Hoffa or whatever, or just general mob stuff, you talked about how they kind of invaded and wound up controlling groups of Teamsters and having a lot of influence and being able to do a lot of corruption type shit. But I don't know, I feel that's something that kind of maybe leaves a bad taste in people's mouths. That's kind of how that got trickled down into me, or maybe I'm just a weirdo dummy, what have you, because I've realized definitely just learning more about unions, yada yada yada, I'm the Teamsters are fine. There are general problems sometimes when it comes to unions getting corrupted, but that's just any kind of organization. You fucking put money in motherfuckers' faces, shit's gonna happen. So anyway, that's an aside, but let's see. This vote shows that hundreds of thousands of Teamsters are united and determined to get the best contract in our history at UPS. And that was from Teamsters General President Sean M. O'Brien. If this multi-billion-dollar company or corporation fails to deliver on the contract that our hardworking members deserved, UPS will be striking itself. So, I mean, obviously, here we are very much pro-union, so we say, let's fucking go. Now, granted, negotiations are still happening. This is just kind of a ramping up, saying, like, look, if you guys want to continue to debate the things that we feel like we need and, we are fighting for, we will go and strike. And that being said, it's going to jam up people's packages. Like, shit's going to be slow, if not, like, nigh impossible to get your shit. Prices are going to be going up, things of that nature. So, yeah, I imagine the powers that be at UPS are, like, kind of upset, kind of maybe sweating a little bit here. Because, I mean, I'm sure they had to know that this was inevitable. But naturally, they don't want to see this shit go to print. That shit does not look good when it's like, oh yeah, we're holding out on giving people money and making sure that like they have like air conditioning and shit in their trucks. Because that's definitely something I remember hearing or watching videos and shit on news, just about literally watching people, like, if it wasn't like Amazon workers, it was FedEx workers, just people in this field, like passing out on motherfuckers' door cams because they're just they're dying of like heat exhaustion, heat stroke, whatever. Like, that's just crazy. And, the defense from the powers that be is like, oh, well, we just can't, like, we can't give you guys a fan or anything. What's the point of giving you guys AC at the door? Like, oh, we're sorry. Like, it's like, you guys got to make this shit work. Like, motherfuckers can't be passing out damn near dying on the job. Like, you can't have that shit. Just like motherfuckers having to, like, piss and shit in bottles because they have to make their fucking rounds for Amazon. Like, the reason unions exist is to stop that shit from fucking happening. So, obviously we're pro that. I want to see motherfuckers get their pay, get their bag. Like, this inflation shit is real, and these motherfuckers need to be accommodating their people for it. So yeah, it's just something I do feel passionate about. Even though obviously I am, stuck in the machine myself, non-unionized, but, I definitely am a person who sees the benefit of it. And I also realize that the more like good shit that happens from unions, like when unions get what they want, we all win. We all get a W from that. So, just like I'm rooting for the writer strike, even though I haven't seen too much news of that shit recently. Very sad, as the kids would say. Rooting for that shit. I'm rooting for all unions everywhere, all the time. I'm rooting for the Teamsters. You know what? The scales have been lifted from my eyes. Jimmy Hoffa, he's gone. Fuck that shit. So yeah, go Teamsters. Go, unions. But yeah, that's all we got for this episode. I thank you so much for tuning in. If you'd like to help support the podcast, patreon.com/Isaiah News. Get you, newsy access, newsy status. I say your name on the podcast once a month. Shout out a project thing you would like. If you'd like to be a silent donor, we love that. We love a quiet whale. That's okay. If you're funding the effort, we're down. We stand. But yeah, free ways to contact the podcast or myself, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, where you can comment on the YouTubes. Feel free to hit that subscribe button, hit the like buttons, give me some reviews. Those are always good. At least that's what they say. It's good for the algo. That's good for the gander. But yeah, that's all we have for today. I thank you so much for tuning in. I thank you so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.